I am not telling this story to blame anyone. I am telling it so you don't make the same mistakes I did. When you don't raise your children with love, the world will raise them for you. I am an old woman now. My hands shake when I hold a cup of tea, but my memories, they are still painfully clear. People think old age brings peace. No one tells you it also brings regret. Let me tell you something I never had the courage to say out loud. I didn't lose my children to death. I lost them to my own mistakes. Before I go on, if stories like this touch your heart, please subscribe to this channel. These stories are told so our children don't repeat our mistakes. When my children were young, I believed love was enough. I fed them, I clothed them, I protected them from the world, but I didn't teach them respect. I didn't teach them gratitude. I didn't teach them how to treat the woman who gave them life. And today, I am paying for that. When my first son was born, I promised myself one thing: I will never be strict like my parents were. I let him talk back. I laughed when he ignored elders. When he disrespected me, I said, "He's just a child." When my daughter grew older and stopped listening, I told myself she needs freedom. Freedom turned into arrogance. Confidence turned into pride. I confused love with silence and kindness with weakness. I never corrected them when they were wrong. I never taught them that actions have consequences. And children learn one lesson very well: if there are no consequences, there is no respect. When my husband died, everything changed. Suddenly the house felt empty. The laughter stopped. The walls felt colder. I thought my children would become my support. Instead, they became strangers. My son started calling less. My daughter visited only when she needed money. When I tried to advise them, they said, "Don't interfere. This is our life." I stayed quiet because I had trained them to believe my voice didn't matter. One day, I fell in the kitchen. I stayed on the floor for hours, not because I couldn't call for help, but because no one answered. My phone rang once, then silence. Later, my daughter said I was busy. Busy. That word hurt more than the fall. I remember the night I realized the truth. I was sitting alone, looking at old photos, smiling faces, birthday candles, family dinners. I whispered to myself, I raised them to succeed in the world, but I forgot to raise them to care for me. No one teaches you that parenting mistakes don't disappear. They grow with your children. Now my children argue over my house, over my savings, over what I will leave behind. But none of them ask how I sleep at night. None of them ask if I'm lonely. Sometimes I pretend not to recognize them, not because my memory is gone, but because the children I raised are not the people standing in front of me. If you are listening to me right now, please hear this from an old woman who learned too late. Love without discipline is not love.
Freedom without guidance is dangerous. Silence today becomes suffering tomorrow. Teach your children to say thank you. Teach them to respect elders. Teach them that parents are not disposable. Because one day you will be old like me, and you will depend on the very values you either taught or ignored. I don't blame my children anymore. I blame the younger version of myself who was afraid to say no, who wanted to be liked instead of respected, who forgot that parenting is not about comfort, it's about character. Tonight, I will sit by the window again, watching the streetlights turn on one by one. I will whisper a prayer, not for myself, but for parents who still have time. Time to correct, time to guide, time to raise humans, not just children. Because the saddest sound in the world is not an empty house, it's a full family with no love left inside. If this story touched your heart, don't ignore the lesson like I did. Teach your children today what you don't want to cry about tomorrow.